All right, so I got cut off because I went over 15 minutes, which means you guys must be bored, but I hope that this is a little helpful so you know where to head. Next week will be work time, and so I promise I won't talk too much at you like this again. So stop bad fit. I'm going to run through it super quickly, I promise. And I would like for you to keep in mind that this is what I'm expecting you and your group to do. So symbols, you have the maids. She represents simplicity and innocence. Salome, wealth, excess, promiscuity, and lamb, victims of her vice. Themes, people can't fight their base natures and desires. Privilege breeds vice. Women can be ruthless and reckless too. Women can be dangerous. There are, of course, more that we could play around with. Organization, this poem is divided into 4 stanzas. It's written in free verse. Dashes, commas, questions within lines are used as interjections and interruptions. Um, and I could also talk about rhyme here. Progression, I just looked at progression as far as the narrative goes. So stanza 1, she's waking up to the next to the man in the bed. Stanza 2, the maid comes to bring sustenance. Stanza 3, Salome resolves to clean up her act. Stanza 4, she reveals that the man in bed is simply ahead, and she is satisfied. Then we have bad. Big 3, speaker Salome, audience, friend or companion. It's like a casual chat, it seems. Occasion would be the morning after a wild night when she wakes up. And there's this combination in Duffy's poems of like a story that is known and that has a typical, like the character that we're following, but also it moves away from that and goes a different direction. So this might be after the beheading of John the Baptist. This isn't how the story is told in the Bible, obviously, but there are elements of the same character, echoes of the story, even though it is not in any way accurate to what the actual story is. So atmosphere, dangerous, mercurial. She seems to be capricious and could change at any moment. Diction, she uses informal language, including contractions, colloquialisms, rhetorical questions, innuendo, and there's stream of consciousness. Also, figurative language, there's allusion, onomatopoeia, the cliteraplates, clutter, patter. Intimation, she hints at the dead head next to her. Irony, there's anachronisms. Imagery, there's tactile imagery, colder than pewter, sticky red sheets. And then tone, she seems flippant in their parts where she is resolved and determined, but then she goes back. She is then cruel, merciless, evil. So possible thesis statements. And I'd like for you guys to look at a couple possible thesis statements. And the rest of the class would not in any way copy down those exact thesis statements to use for their own IOCs, but they're just ideas, like possible avenues for exploration. So one I looked at would be Salome's sudden shifts in the nonchalant tone of her dramatic monologue, which it delivered near a severed head, develops a mercurial mood, illustrating the danger of a reckless, powerful woman. Evidence, progression of Salome, so you have the kiss, the distraction, the resolve to do better, the acceptance of the failure murder. You also have this the sudden shifts with between stanzas. You have this cycle. So back to I'll do it again. You have a cycle of information, the head on the pillow that we've realized at the end is just the head on the pillow. You have this tone that I might explain then diction that develops the tone and use a few pieces of evidence here and there, and then also of her irreverent allusion. If I were to go this route, which I'm now noticing when I'm reading, there's some things in here that I could clarify. But if I were to go to this route, I might discuss the world's wife as a whole. It celebrates the female voice and feminine power, but here it sounds a warning. In the context of the larger work, Salome is a contrast because the other women are at times heroic, right? And reclaiming what they have lost. Here, it seems Salome is in control and she's the villain. The other woman to be portrayed as a villain and not to the same extent and indeed with more layers, but still is a villain in The World's Wife is Queen Herod, who would actually be Salome's step-grandmother. If I were to go this route, I might also discuss the list of disciples as other possible poor, trying to do good for the world victims of Salome. If I were to talk about, again, just the danger of a reckless woman, I might mention them. I might also mention that in the Gospel of Mark, Herod is manipulated by the two women and his wife. So it's his new wife who tells her daughter to do this dance in order to get Herod to do something that she wants him to do, which is to kill John the Baptist. So you have the victims being men, although, that's kind of up for debate with this creepy dance that Salome does for Herod. But the victims being men, and of course, including John the Baptist. So to recap here, Salome is a biblical figure remembered for her role in the beheading of John the Baptist. Caroline Duffy portrays her as a debaucherous and heartless woman. This characterization shows the potential danger of the female, the possibility of the female villain. Rather than write her as the one being used in the Bible by her mother and her stepfather, Salome is the one using men and then killing them after. So again, just kind of flipping the script there, you would also include a works cited in your presentation. So I will post this, my example up on Canvas. Actually, by the time you watch this, it'll hopefully already be up there. And then I would like to talk about the targets here. So you're going to be scored individually on the targets, and I'll put this up on Canvas as well. Demonstrate understanding how language, culture, and context construct meaning and text, so your knowledge and understanding, your analysis of the language, and then your organization and development. You're going to include the following: Carol Ann Duffy, relevant background in context of production, and then the character relevant background, which every poem will need, whether it's historical, biblical, or mythical. And then I think we have one fairy tale. You're going to complete the annotation of the poem, or have a complete annotation of the poem in your presentation, a stop bad fit breakdown, and then possible thesis statements and organizing ideas for commentary. Think these through carefully. Again, it's not for people to copy, but it's just for avenues of exploration, images when appropriate worked into your presentation, and a works cited page. Here I started writing, make sure that you divide your time evenly. Your presentation will be about 10 to 20 minutes. Mine ended up being about, I don't know, if you were to take out the parts where I was speaking directly to you, probably about 16 minutes. Some of the poems are much longer than the one I just presented, but divide your time evenly. Remember that you're being scored individually, so each person wants to talk a little bit about the context and showing background and knowledge. Every person wants to participate in the breakdown, in the analysis of language, and the annotation. Every person wants to participate in the stop bad fit. So wherever your group is, make sure that you break it down so everyone participates in every part of the presentation. All right, we are now going to break into our groups. You can take a look at the schedule to the left. There, it's rough, of course, subject to change. When you put this projector, oh my goodness, this projector sheet, when you pull the thing up and you reveal the whiteboard, you'll see the different poem titles up there. You are a large class, so it'll say like a group of 2 to 4. You guys will probably be on the edge of 4. Please, I don't know, someone take the lead and start heading up, signing up for the poems. And you have the rest of the period to work on some early exploration, maybe looking up the background of your speaker, of your dramatic monologue by Carol Ann Duffy. All right, I will see you guys. Feel free to email me with any questions. Even right now, I could respond back really quickly because I'm just at a meeting at the district. So I'll see you guys, if not before then, on Tuesday. All right, bye-bye.